We got another one of them, popping at the mouth or the side of his neck when he pouts. No argument, no rebuttal from. He ain't from my town, I don't know him, so I'm guessing he's a clown.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today, we're going to talk about this MJF t-shirt, which apparently has offended a lot of people, especially Christian AEW fans and people who are not really AEW fans, but are Christians. So for the last couple of weeks, MJF has been referring to himself as the devil. Therefore, AEW put out a shirt that says, "I am a devil worshiper," which is something that MJF basically said in New York, that the people in New York worship him. They're his little devil worshipers. They would drink his spit, etc., etc. And it was an interesting thing. I also think it's kind of corny because, you know, he's not that bad, but they're trying to give him this sort of Lucifer Morningstar from the comic books kind of feel where, you know, he's not the epitome of all evil, but he's just sort of this charming jackass and who uses his money to, you know, impose his will on others. All right, fine. But apparently there's been quite a few people that have been upset by it. And I'm not surprised at the Christian response. What I am surprised at has been the amount of people who hate Christians in certain places that are fans of AEW. And this has caused a sort of schism between these two groups. As it's been very interesting to watch because MJF is an openly Jewish wrestler, and you can't really offend Jews. And I'm just going to take it there. You can't really say anything negative about Jews. One of these guys, I forget what the guy's name is. Matter of fact, let's take a look. Carmine Sabia. He put out a tweet that says, AEW and Tony Khan really love to offend Christians. I wonder if someone facing MJF wore a swastika on a shirt, if that would be fine. Or a shirt mocking Muhammad directed at Tony. I expect AEW fans not to care because they are obsessed with pretending to be ECW. Now, of course, he got devoured in the quote tweets and in the comment sections of every single thing that he touched. And he went back and forth with MJF a little bit. MJF basically threatened to beat the guy up if he wore a swastika shirt around him, not realizing that, you know, promoting worshiping the devil it's a little bit different because, you know, you can question whether the devil is a real thing or not. You can question whether some people even believe in the devil. Some people don't believe the devil exists. While swastikas are a sort of real life symbol. But I get Mr. Sabia. I get what he's going for there. So it's been an interesting thing to watch occur because there are so many people who are anti-religious, and I really just this is the wildest thing is I really just wrote down something in a story, and I hate to talk about myself too much, but it was I write every story with a little bit of a religious twist. You know, either the character doubts religion or the character has a religion or whatever the case may be. You know, I feel like it's so important. It's one of those things that is so important that characters have an opinion on it. Like, you don't need to know whether they're a Democrat or Republican. That's not that important. But especially if your character is American, they have to have some kind of religion. You know, either no religion or some religion or whatever. And plus, it just makes sense for the world that you're building to have religious elements to it. And so I like playing around with different religions and studying mythology and that kind of stuff. And I really was writing about big city versus small town people. And this is something that I just found out recently was kind of real. That people in small towns tend to be more superstitious and they also tend to be more religious. So the smaller the town that you live in, the more religious that you tend to be. So when you look at this situation, when you look at that, and then you see that cities are usually populated by people who come from small towns. So when you look at, let's say, the hood for Black America, you see a lot of, like Detroit, a lot of people from Alabama and Mississippi, you know, that southern belt of the United States, Tennessee or whatever. A lot of these people come from small towns during the Depression or right after the Depression, during the 60s and 70s or whatever, and they moved to Detroit or Chicago or whatever. They brought their small town superstitions and religions with them. And so you started getting these Southern Baptist churches in the northern states. And it was an interesting thing to look at and to learn about, because my God, look at how true it is, you know? And when you have a place like New York, where MJF is from, they don't have a lot of that migration from the South. Now, there's some of it, sure, but not as much. And New York is a very progressive state, just like California. It's almost secular in a such that you can, of the stuff that you can get away with in a place like New York and California that you really can't get away with in other places. So you can get away with an I'm a devil worshiper t-shirt in New York. It's a mostly secular state. They've pretty much banned almost all religion, to the point where, you know, you'd be surprised to find really devout Christians in New York or California. But like I said, MJF is a Jew. So what do you do to shoot back at these people? And I remember I made a video a couple of weeks ago, months ago actually, when CM Punk wore the pro-abortion shirt or something like that, and say to myself, you know, they would never let somebody wear a pro-life shirt in AEW. And you can be goddamn sure that you could never wear a shirt that would offend Jews or offend Muslims on AEW TV. But you can wear a shirt that offends Christians. And considering AEW doesn't really do small towns, nor do they focus on a very progressive wrestling audience as it sits already. And Tony pretty much brags about that. You know, they typically, their audience is essentially white males from progressive cities who have large amounts of disposable income. I mean, this is what Tony Khan has bragged about, and I did videos on that too. And I talked about how elitist it was, because, you know, you're not appealing to everybody. You're only appealing to it's a large section of the audience. And let's be honest, you know, the white male is, you know, a significant percentage of the country, you know, especially considering, you know, from demographics, they make the most money. But when you talk about how your demographics are better than the demographics for WWE, knowing WWE somewhat targets lower income, quote unquote, lower class individuals, then you're making a statement there, right? So knowing what AEW's audience is and what they, you know, promote their audience to be, but you also have to ask the question of the audience that they're trying to court. You know, recently, within the last couple of weeks, they've been trying to court more mainstream rappers and stuff like that. Most of them tend to be Christians and probably are not going to be okay with this whole devil worshiper thing, but then it's all about the cash for them. Because if rappers are really Christians, they wouldn't rap about killing each other or doing drugs or anything stupid like that. Even if it was part of their own personal narrative, they would really kind of question, you know, how much of that they would really do. So there's people who understand the entertainment industry and that this stuff isn't real and all that kind of shit. But then there's just people who are offended. And I think we've gotten to the point where there are just people who are offended, and that it's okay to offend certain people and not others. You know, certain individuals have free reign to piss on the foreheads of other people. And that's something that I don't agree with. You know, now I'm not saying that a guy should be able to wear a devil worshiper shirt and then another guy should be able to walk up in a goddamn swastika. I think those have two different meanings. But when you threaten violence against somebody who says, what if I wear a swastika shirt? It's like, but you don't get why wearing the devil worshiper shirt, you know, offends this guy. You clearly don't get it, you know, and it doesn't matter whether you think it's real or not, because there are people who don't believe in the Holocaust, but, you know, it doesn't matter whether you think it's real. We're talking about somebody else's freedom of expression. You know, you want to have freedom of expression. You want to express your support for MJF by saying, you know, I'm a devil worshiper, but somebody who doesn't know who MJF is going to have a different connotation of what devil means, you know, and that's And it's not, and I think it's pretty clear as far I'm looking at the shirt. It's branded with AEW. So people would, I mean, not to say that everybody would know what that means, and not to say that people would even notice it, but it is sort of branded as a wrestling shirt. Not necessarily as a generic devil worshiping Church of Satan sort of shirt, but it says a lot that this has become a point of argument that you can offend certain people, you can't offend others. And I'm not going to shy away from that because it's something that I've noticed. Now, let's look at some of the responses of to this shirt. Some on both sides of the fence. And it kind of invites conflict, which is interesting because certain people don't really think that splitting the fan base is a good idea, and it shouldn't be. But if you're a Christian wrestling fan, especially if you're a white Christian male, how many times have AEW wrestlers told you to go fuck yourself? And despite the fact that, you are the prime demographic, you're the prime demographic that they've been going for. And you've got CM Punk, making all kind of comments about white males and how they can go fuck off or whatever, Christian white males or whatever. And now you got MJF doing it, and you got, the pro-gay stuff and the pro-abortion stuff. I mean, again and again, you are their prime demographic. The demographic that Tony Khan brags about. And you're also the prime demographic under assault by their wrestlers who seemingly can't stop going out of their way to offend people. So that's just something to think about. My opinion on the shirt is I really don't have an opinion on the shirt. I would never wear it. Even as an atheist, I wouldn't wear it because it's kind of fake edgy. To me, all that Church of Satan, fake edginess, I don't get down with none of that crap. You cannot believe in something without being anti. I'm not anti-Christian. I'm just not a Christian. And it's really that simple. I think going out of your way to antagonize people for any reason, just like I'm not, I don't support people burning pride flags or anything like that. It's just kind of silly to me to antagonize people for no reason. You could just think differently, believe differently, and let people do their own thing. I don't even believe in antagonizing people, Like which is weird because of how I have this channel. But if I really said half the shit that I wanted to say, if I wanted to really antagonize people, I could. And I probably would have a lot more subscribers if I was openly antagonistic towards other people. But I don't believe in doing that stuff. I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get your point across without being a hammerhead, But I think that certain people, they have a bitterness in their heart about for some reason. And it makes it necessary for them to want to attack rather than to just be left alone. And I also think that Tony Khan and AEW should make a public statement about this shirt, or maybe modify it so that it seems to be more of a wrestling shirt by either making the AEW logo larger or changing the word devil to MJF worshiper or something like that. But, hey, I'm just saying, look at your demographics and look at who you're offending. You probably don't want to go out of your way to offend your demographic, but here it is. So once somebody said, and I quote, we go into the comment section, I'm buying it only to piss off religious people. Yeah, but why? How does that benefit you to piss off religious people? To what? Start a fight? You want to start fights? You want to start an argument? That's not how you engage in any type of discussion or anything like that with people. What would be the purpose in wearing this shirt to piss off religious people? Again, it's somebody looking to antagonize, and these people probably think they're the good guys. I'm going to wear something that's going to openly antagonize people for no good reason. People I don't even know 9 times out of 10. Come on, it just doesn't make any sense. Somebody just joked that he can't wait for MJF's first WWE shop shirt. Let's see. Let's continue this. Listen, the shirt is amazing, and it's in my cart as we speak, but damn, baby cakes, you look absolutely scrumptious. Ooh. Wow. Maxwell, I love you, but I can't be walking around with a I'm a devil worshiper shirt. People will look at me weird. Yeah. Somebody says, that's my first thought. I want a wrestling shirt I can wear when I'm out and about. No way am I wearing a devil worshiper shirt. That's basic common sense. Somebody could be, and that's something that, despite all my rambling, I really didn't even think about that. What about your fans that don't want to be caught dead wearing this fucking shirt? And even people who get it and think it's just entertainment and it's not that big of a deal, they still are not going to proudly express that they're devil worshippers by wearing a shirt. So what fraction of your audience are you actually intending to capture with this piece of merchandise? You know? But these are, again, progressives, and they believe in that there are bad people that we should be trying to offend all the time, and we should live to upset them, and we should live to piss them off. We'll see how that turns out in the long run, because trust me, wrestling is one of those things where it's very disposable, and it's very easy for people to not care about wrestling anymore, or not care about your wrestling anymore. As we've seen over the years, that entertainment in general is very disposable. There are people who are, very attached to entertainment, attached to their movies and comic books and pro wrestling or whatever. But most people are not. Most people get into something, and the moment that you go out of your way to offend them, to piss them off or whatever, they will be like, okay, I'm not interested in that. I think I'll just walk away. Here's another comment. I think this is a pretty good one. Considering 328 million out of 329 million Americans don't watch Dynamite, this shirt seems like a really bad idea. Somebody says, I can't wear this out in public, man. That's true. Somebody says, I literally live at a church. I need this shirt. So again, somebody who wants to antagonize their parents, which is, the devil horns, tongue out. Yeah, bro, my parents dared to teach me values. Fuck them. Way to go, AEW. Good gimmick for the ace of the company that wants to supposedly grow and claim it's a competition. But hey, it's just a gimmick, right? Plus, all the grown-ups who happen to be religious won't get offended. Yeah, that is true. Somebody says, damn, I'm not into AEW, but I'm into worshiping the devil, so I think I'm grabbing this one. Somebody says, ish, this isn't going to age well. Could have said not that. Anything but that. Somebody says, is this real? This is the worst gimmick ever. He says, I already warned my religious mother that I will be getting this shirt. Okay. Somebody says, hail Satan and all that jazz. He says, nicely done. People are going to get offended by this, but I love it. Okay. Somebody said, this is the gayest line I've ever heard. People started posting Christian crosses in the comment section to MJF's tweet. This ain't it. It's absolutely disgusting. But that's another thing. Like, what about your Christian wrestlers? I think somebody just asked the question, like, what do the Young Bucks think of this? And I'm thinking, like, what about Lance Archer, who is openly a Christian? Like, what does he think about this? What about Sting? Chris Jericho. I don't know, man. Like, I'm sitting back thinking about, like, your Christian wrestlers are backstage again, just like the abortion stuff. They have to hide their Christian crosses and be very quiet about what they got going on. But these guys are openly mocking them, openly talking shit about them. What are you doing to your backstage area? Now, some people have tried to equate this, and I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of them so far. What about the Vince McMahon wrestling God stuff? Vince McMahon did not really wrestle God. It was merely a marketing gimmick. Vince, of course, did mock holy water and some other Christian elements, but it was done, as he said, in sort of a parody fashion. And of course, Vince McMahon ended up getting his in the end because, he's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. It was all about his ego and all that kind of stuff. He ended up biting himself in the ass in the end. If you remember how that feud ended with Vince McMahon's head shoved up Big Show's ass, if I remember correctly. So I'm not entirely sure that you want to use that as an example. It was, like the end of that feud was Vince McMahon's head shoved up Big Show's ass. That's kind of the end of that feud. Not, Vince McMahon beating God and stomping all over Christianity and all that kind of stuff. But he did do he did a mockery of a prayer when he said that, God, I don't like you, you don't like me. Which I thought was funny because it was Vince being retarded. And he was very orange at the time too, which made it even funnier. It looked like something out of one of The Simpsons. All right, let's see here. So somebody said, I wonder which shirt would get me killed faster if I went to Texas. This or my Twitch Still Here, Still Queer shirt. It's pretty insane that people think that folks just go around shooting people for being gay. That's such misinformation. And I hate to get too political on you, but hell, this is what this video is all about at this point. But there's literally like nowhere in the United States, I should say, where people are just killed for being gay. It just doesn't happen. No one is ever killed for one reason, the idea that people are just killed for being gay is absolute liberal propaganda. Just like somebody is killed just for being black or arrested for being black. Like that doesn't happen. All right. You have to eliminate literally every other reason why people might get killed, beat up, or, whatever. Hold on. Now I should say maybe the trans thing. Maybe somebody might just literally get beat up just for being trans. Because people don't really understand it. People don't like it. They hate it, as a matter of fact. So maybe when it comes to the trans issue, you might get somebody who just beats you up just because you exist. You might see people who might bully you or whatever just because you exist. People might talk shit about you just because you exist. People may say things that you don't like just because you exist. But the idea that somebody's going to go out of their way and risk going to prison for the rest of their life just because you wore a shirt, I don't think so. But we do have people who are stupid enough to do that, but those people are very few and far between. So I think you're pretty safe wearing either one of those shirts in Texas. So somebody says, it's funny seeing Christians being offended by this shirt when they're okay with those in their circle who were Nazi and SSBS, Confederate flags, and MAGA crap, all of which are far worse and more dangerous than devil worshippers. See how he just collected all of these crazy things together. How did being a Nazi and the Confederate flag and MAGA shirts, how did all of that become conflated? None of those things are the same thing. None of those things mean the same thing. And why would you bring all of that up to defend literally a shirt that says I'm a devil worshiper? I don't know, man. It's here somebody says I'll wear it to church. Again, antagonizing people. Here's another one. This is, I don't know who this is, but somebody said this is a part of one of the products you promote called AEW. So does anti-Christian attitude represent the values and views of your company? Because this was a direct attack on viewers and consumers of the Christian faith. And they at some guy, they at people at Warner Media. Oh. So that's who these people are. I was wondering who these people were that were being added. Look, I don't necessarily agree with this, but you open yourself up to this kind of thing when you openly go out to antagonize folks. So I'm guessing they're tagging Warner Media individuals to see if they truly believe that, you should be wearing an I'm a devil worshiper shirt on television. You're kind of late. I don't think Warner Media cares, especially since I think they just announced that they're going to be getting sued for lying about the HBO Max numbers. So I'm pretty sure they got bigger problems. They got bigger fish to fry than you being upset about a Christian shirt. Somebody says the subtext of this is I'm an attention-seeking manlet. Well, yeah, that's most people who try to be edgelords. That's all it's about, is attention seeking. Is attention seeking behavior. But he's in the business of attention seeking. He's a pro wrestler. He's trying to get people's attention. That's what he wants. He probably loved how viral this shirt went because, because of comments like this. As this is annoying weirdos, I shall be buying, and I'm not even a wrestling fan. You would think that, this person also has a Star of David in their avatar. So, again. Somebody says, weirdos think this shirt is pro-Satanism when really is the actual problem is that it's kind of buns. Well, kind of buns. It just kind of fully is buns. Interesting tweet that I kind of started with this video with it and decided to go in a different direction. But somebody says, yes, we know you worship the devil, Mr. Friedman. And then Friedman is in parentheses. Multiple parentheses. You know what that means. They're just recognizing that, MJF is Jewish, which you can't ignore. You can't ignore that a Jewish wrestler is out to offend Christians. And this is not the good kind of heat, but whatever. Somebody says, I was literally thinking about how I want this shirt, but didn't know how to make it. Thank you, my devil. These people are very weird. MJF inducing a pearl clutching satanic panic was not on my 20 whatever bingo card, but I absolutely love it. Now going to listen to some Judas Priest backwards. Again, making fun of people for making fun of people for being religious. It is what it is. Let's see. This shirt is not for me. Most people will say that and probably not buy it, but somebody says, really, MJF, he really wants to be in hell. He doesn't believe he's not a Christian. So he's going to have a different perspective on this. It's all about pissing you off. It doesn't offend him at all. He's not going to be upset about this at all. But, whatever. Let's go to some other ones. They're attacking this Carmine Sabia guy, which is not surprised. Somebody says, cry, Jesus is dead. The only Christian that matters to me is Christian Cage. Did you get this upset when Vince beat God in a wrestling match, or was it just because it's AEW? Vince never wrestled God. God didn't show up. Rebby Hardy says, I love the smell of Christian tears in the evening. This is interesting. Really interesting. Really interesting. That was an interest. I wasn't expecting to see Rebby Hardy in the middle of all of this. Oh boy. Somebody said you're getting cooked in the quote tweets, as if he cares. He doesn't live on Twitter like most people. That's the thing where, people think that you're supposed to care about getting ratio and all that shit. Like, you have all of these options to kind of mute the conversation. So does it really bother you if you don't get any of those responses? You say what you say, then you mute the conversation. People do it all the time. Very rarely do you see somebody be dumb enough to try to answer most of these things or answer all of them. They're now attacking this Carmine Sabia guy. Like I said, they said, you, a conservative Christian, genuinely have no business sticking your nose in a Jewish man's business. This is why people hate religious radicalism, because you try and shove your belief down people's throats instead of letting people accept beliefs for themselves. Interesting. Considering, if it was the reverse, you would say he can't do that. So this isn't despite the fact that people try to make this argument, you shouldn't try to shove Christianity down people's faces. Let people believe whatever they want. If they want to wear an anti-Christian shirt, then let them. Okay, what if I wanted to wear an anti-Jewish shirt? Which was his point, even though it was kind of clunkily made. What if he wanted to wear an anti-Jew shirt? You would not have a let people believe what they want to believe. You wouldn't have that attitude. So, no. I already know that you're faking in order to pretend to be intellectual about this subject. It's absolute horseshit. a lot of people are saying that he's biased against AEW, as if that matters. We're missing the point of this thing, which is that this guy is talking about Christianity. Now, someone brought up Glenn Jacobs, who apparently Carmine Sabia talked to, had the honor of interviewing Mayor Jacobs on a political show, and had the honor of interviewing him as Kane this Tuesday on my wrestling podcast, A Great Man and Patriot. So then somebody says, Glenn Jacobs literally called himself the devil's favorite, but you sucked him off. Why don't you shut your ass up, you hypocrite? Well, it was technically the devil's favorite demon, and it was definitely in reference to a not real character. All right? Which is why I said MJF and AEW should modify this shirt so that it comes across more of a wrestling shirt and not more of a political statement. Like, yes, it has the Burberry thing with devil that's reminiscent of MJF's scarf, but most people would not have gotten that. They don't understand that. All right, because MJF is not as big as, let's say, Kane. All right. So I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying, though. A lot of people are upset. They're more upset that this Carmine Sabia guy called the AEW fans the dregs of society. More people are upset about that than a shirt that literally says that you worship the devil, which is odd. Very odd. But, the state of the world that we live in. Here's one. I'm still explaining to people why I have a Scissor Me Daddy shirt. I don't know how this one would go over. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to wear clothes and I have to explain to people. Like, to me, that's just silly. Get a t-shirt, man. Like, out of the hundreds of millions of t-shirts somebody could wear, why wear this one? Why wear a shirt that you have to explain to people? Why you got to explain your clothes? I don't get that. I don't live in that reality. I don't live in a reality where people have to explain their clothes. I don't know, man. Just wear whatever is good for the occasion. To which some people did say I would wear this to a wrestling show, or I would wear this to an AEW show, which is true, I guess, but whatever. All right. So that's enough. It's basically the same shit over and over again. Just interesting that when, this Carmine Sabia guy kind of talks about reversing the situation and offending Jews or whatever, it becomes, oh, you want to step outside, bro? I'll punch you in the face. But it's like, what if Christians wanted to punch you in the face because you wearing I'm a devil worshiper shirt? Oh, well, they're religiously intolerant and they need to just let people believe what they believe. It's like, weird. Very weird. Very weird how that works. Other people just should tolerate being pissed on and offended while you get to do all the pissing and offending. No. But let me know what you guys think. I would imagine there's going to be a mixture of opinions on this. I saw that Millennial Smart was pretty upset about this shirt. He didn't like it. I just think it's corny. I don't have an intense hatred for it. It's just a corny fucking shirt. And would I have made the shirt? Absolutely not. Even if I was going to go with that character or that gimmick or whatever, I still wouldn't have made this stupid fucking shirt. It's a stupid shirt. But whatever. Like, share, and subscribe, y'all. We'll talk about it more on the live stream, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.